Cozy season is finally here, which means we can decorate and read some cozy books. I have been really excited to make this video because I've basically been waiting for what, like a year to do this, because I just love autumn so much. So I did buy some decor, so I am going to show you some of the new things that I got, and I do have a couple of bits that I'm just reusing from previous years. Plan of action is to decorate, then I'm going to show you my September TBR and the books that I want to read. Also going to take you through some little updates that I've had over the past week, and then I'm also going to show you my TK Maxx and charity shop bookish haul, because I found some really good books. Really excited to show you everything. So first of all, let's start off with some decor. So first thing I got, which I believe is from Amazon, and it is just something I am reusing from previous years, it's some autumn leaves. The plan of action is to replace the green leaves. However, these are not as bushy as the green ones, so it might not look as good, but with the color, I think it's still gonna look really, really cozy. Up next, we have these pumpkins. Ash actually got me these as a little surprise. He picked them up for me whilst he was in work. So I believe these are from B&M, and then this one was from Sainsbury's. Even though they're from different shops, they still stack. Like, it's the perfect size. So yeah, these are gonna go on my little table that I have next to my bookshelf, where I basically put my coffee and books whilst I make videos. It's gonna look really cute there. Speaking of coffee, I also picked up this mug from TK Maxx. I think this was £5, and it says, "Just a girl who loves fall." So this is a really, really cute mug. I couldn't say no to getting this. There was also a bookish mug that said "Hot Girls Read Books" or something like that, but coming up to fall, I decided to get this one instead. Also picked up this one as well. This one's more plasticky, and it has these really cute kind of autumn stickers on of mushrooms and pumpkins and animals on there as well. And I like these kind of mugs for my teas and like green teas and herbal teas. So yeah, I had to pick that one up. I think this was, yeah, this one was £5, and this was from Primark. Also got this pumpkin fake plant. This is gonna go on my bookshelf. This was actually from Poundland. However, it wasn't actually a pound, it was £3. Also from Not So Much Poundland, we also have these kind of velvety type pumpkins. Kind of wanted these to maybe take some autumn pictures with for my Instagram. If not, they can just go on the bookshelf, I was thinking, and they're really cute. And my dad actually picked both of those items up for me, which was really sweet because he knows how much I love autumn. So yeah, really wholesome. Also have some more random pumpkin things. So I believe this was from the range and it came in a pack of 3. It came with a grey one and an orange one. However, I cannot for the life of me find the other ones. And I think these were also from the range as well, but they're just little plastic pumpkins. Again, really good for little additional decor for Instagram photos, but again, might just scatter a few of them on the shelf to make it a little bit more cozy. Did also get some really cute autumnal pillows as well, but they're already on the sofa, so I will also show you those. So that's everything that I got. It's not gonna look too fancy because I don't really have that much I can decorate. I pretty much have the sofa, my desk, and a bookshelf that I could decorate, but every little helps and it's gonna make it cozy. So let's get decorating. I know it's not loads, but I think that looks so much more autumnal and I think it looks so much nicer. It looks great. I think the fake candles make it look so much nicer as well. And then I'll quickly show you the pillow as well. So these are all from B&M. This one is actually more beige, but I just think it looks a little bit grey on camera, but it is more of a brown. We also have this Hey Pumpkin one as well, which I absolutely love. And we have Missy as well. She wanted to come and say hi. Now the decorating is done, let's go and make a coffee and have a look at some books. Coffee makes everything better. It honestly looks so much more cozy now. I really, really like it. Like I said, I know it's not much, but it's the small things that can make a big difference. And I think it looks really cozy. Let's jump into some bookish updates and some book hauls and TBR stuff. So something very exciting that happened last week was I got to meet Richard Armitage. Just in case you haven't seen my previous video, which is my August vlog, I definitely recommend checking it out. It was a really fun vlog. I mentioned in the video that I was going to Richard Armitage's UK tour for his book called The Cut, which is a crime thriller. It was like a 3-hour travel to get there, but it was so worth every second, and meeting him was so nice. He is such a nice person. He spoke a little bit about his book for a while and then it went into audience Q&A, which is really fun. It's always so cool hearing what people's questions are. Some of them are really, really creative. I just asked him what his favorite character was in the book because I was really curious. But either way, I still got to ask him a question. And then afterwards there was a signing and I got him to sign both of the books that he has written. I read the book and I finished it before going to the event and I really, really enjoyed it. It was such a cinematic read. Just in case you're interested, I really do recommend it. It's about a main character called Ben. 30 years ago when he was back in secondary school, which is also known as high school, his friend at the time was killed and another friend of his in his group was put away for the murder. But 30 years later, so in present time, there is a movie that's being filmed in Ben's local village and his son Nathan actually gets the lead role in the movie. And when he starts talking to his son about, you know, what is it you're actually doing, what film are you making, he begins to realize that it's telling the story of what happened 30 years ago between him and his friendship group and the person that was killed. So Ben very much has to choose between saving his son from going through all the emotions and situations that he had to go through when he was younger, or risk the truth coming out. There was lots of secrets, there were lots of hidden things that weren't exactly spoken about 30 years ago, and there's also some found footage elements in there as well. I absolutely loved it. Apparently the audiobook is recommended the most because I actually found out during the Q&A session that the book wasn't actually, I think, supposed to be written. It was purely just going to be an audiobook, but then it ended up getting printed, which is why I think a lot of people listened to the audiobook. He is an absolutely fantastic narrator. He read a bit of an extract from his book and oh my God, I could listen to him for hours. So good. I do think though it would be absolutely fantastic as a TV show. And yeah, really hope that that does come out at some point in the future. So I was actually going to go through my September TBR first. However, I'm actually going to do the book haul first because there are a couple of books in the haul that I'm going to put on my September TBR. So rather than talk about the same thing twice, I just think that would be easier. Let me find somewhere to put this down first. The first book I got is actually a pre-order, and I'm so glad that it's finally here because I've been waiting for this for so long. It's unreal. It is, of course, Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. Just in case you're new here, Divine Rivals is my all-time favorite book. That duology means everything to me. I even have a Divine Rivals tattoo. I love it that much. And I also own a lot of Divine Rivals merch. And this book is actually set in the same world as Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. It is a standalone and there is no order to read in the books, but apparently there are references to Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. So for those that have read those two books first, you might pick up a few references, but it's not needed, so don't stress. But this is actually the Waterstones edition, and it is absolutely stunning. It has the most gorgeous end papers I think I've ever seen in a book. It also has beautiful sprayed edges, and the naked hardback also has beautiful writing on the front as well in gold. I just think it is such a gorgeous book. And when I found out that she was doing a UK tour, I genuinely fell to the floor. Again, I'm gonna have to travel a fair few hours to be able to meet her, but I'm so excited. She's literally the author of my favorite book, so I could not pass on being able to go. If anyone has read this book or started reading it, let me know. I really wanna know what you think. And then these are my TK Maxx and charity shop books. Let's start off with TK Maxx actually, and then we'll go into the charity shop ones. First book I picked up is one that I do really want to read, and it is Dracula. And it is also this really cool kind of cloth bound version as well. This was £7, and it is a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, and it is going to go on my October TBR. So yeah, I just couldn't say no. I'm really excited to get into this one, and it just looks amazing and it feels so nice and velvety. Yeah, really happy with that one. Next up is a very popular read, and it is Legends and Lattes. Heard so many good things about this book. In fact, nothing but good things about it. Apparently it's a really cozy fantasy read. So yeah, really excited to dive into this one. And that one was also £7. Also picked up 1984 by George Orwell, and this is a dystopian book. Again, really interesting cover, and this one was only £4 as well. TK Maxx have their books quite cheap, so I couldn't really say no to this. Been recommended this book quite a lot, especially because I do love dystopian books, and I have actually started reading this and I'm kind of enjoying it so far. It feels a little bit slow, but I think it is going to start picking up soon, but it is still very interesting. So even though it is a little bit slow, you are very drawn to it in the sense of how interesting and immersive it actually is, and how also realistic it kind of feels. But yeah, really excited to see where it goes with this one. Going into my charity shop books now, and the first book I have is The Railway Detective, and this is a crime thriller. It's set in London in the 1800s, I think it's 1850s. There's a mail train going from London and Birmingham, and it ends up getting attacked and it's derailed. And I believe it's the daughter of the train driver ends up getting severely injured. And there's lots of casualties because of it being derailed, and there's a big investigation that's launched. It sounds very similar to a book I've already read called Murder on the Christmas Express. However, I love the fact that this one is more historical. Yeah, just really excited to see where this goes. I like the sound of the historical stuff in this one. This charity shop find has blown my mind. I'll explain in a second. But it's Little Women, but it is this really old version, and I believe it's from 1983. So it says first published 1868, published in the UK 1983. So I'm guessing this one is 1983, but otherwise it doesn't really say. This is one of my all-time favorite films. It's such a comfort movie of mine. I'll always have it on. It's one of those I can watch several times and just never get bored of it. If you haven't seen it before, I definitely recommend watching it. It's just such a lovely story. It's about a group of sisters, and their dad is out in the Civil War, and they are basically having to look after each other at home with their mother. All of the sisters have different hobbies and different interests, and they also end up making friends with the boy next door. But there's just so much that happens, and as they grow older, they all start going off and do their separate things. You know, there's grief, there's loss, there's happiness, there's humor, there's everything in it. Really do recommend it. Please watch it. But I haven't read the book, and the only other book that I have of Little Women, it's really chunky. Actually, tell a lie, I found a version in TK Maxx that is quite small, but this one feels really old and original, so I want to read this one. And for £1, I just couldn't really say no. But I cannot for the life of me find this edition anywhere on the internet. I tried for about half an hour yesterday trying to search for it, and I just couldn't for the life of me find it. So if anyone has managed to find this, please let me know, because it's really bugging me. Now this one's great, and it's just an absolute classic, and it is The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are literally my all-time faves, and it's actually a crime that I haven't read the books yet. I've always wanted to, but the only Lord of the Rings books I have, well, I actually have more versions of them now because they are Ash's books, but back when I first purchased Lord of the Rings, it was just the chunkiest book because it had all of them in the same book, and I just worried that it was going to take me forever to get through. I think I was also a bit worried that they would be quite complex as well, but I've heard really good things about the books and I am going to read it, so I am going to start off with The Hobbit very soon. I think this is going to be either an end of September or October read for sure. Finally, we have The Women, and this is a historical fiction. Historical fiction is one of my favorite genres. I absolutely love it. They are always really emotional and moving reads, and this is one I have seen a fair few times and I have said I've wanted to pick up, so the fact that I found it in a charity shop, that's made it so much easier for me, and it was very, very cheap. It's set in 1965, and by the sound of it, our main character, her brother ends up getting shipped out in the army to Vietnam, and because she wants to go with him to make sure that he's safe, she ends up joining the army nurses. But when she ends up going back to America, everything is completely different. There's lots of grief, there's lots of chaos and destruction and all these horrible thing going on, but it's all about finding friendship with other women that she's met along the way, and it just sounds like it's going to be a really emotional read. I've heard really good things about it from the people who I've known have read this, so yeah, I'm really excited to give this one a read too. Going into my September TBR now, and like I said, these are books that I have just showed you. I've only chosen 3 because we're already just over a week into September and I don't want to overload myself, because I think these books are going to take me a little bit of a while to get through because I'm going to be quite busy this month. So I'm going to start reading this straight away. And of course it is Wild Reverence. I don't actually know too much about what this book is about because I kind of wanted to keep it a mystery. All I know is that it's like a fantasy romance and it's about the divines, which were part of the world of divine rivals and ruthless vows, like I mentioned earlier. So it says, a goddess born to the violet domain of the underworld, Matilda is blessed with a humble messenger magic carrying letters and secrets throughout the realms, including one of her own, a mortal boy who appears only in her dreams. 10 years ago, Vincent of Beckett wrote to Matilda on one of the darkest nights of his life, begging the goddess he befriended in his dreams for aid, but his prayers went unanswered, forever hardening his heart against the gods. That is until she arrives bearing a letter with the promise of a future beyond dreams, one that might rewrite the dark, blood-soaked ways of the gods or end them. That sounds really interesting. Rebecca just has such gorgeous writing, and I just know for a fact that this is going to be a good book, and I haven't even started reading it yet. Plan is to finish 1984 because I have already started this. So like I said, it's a dystopian and it follows a story about a guy in the 80s working for the party, which is also known as like the ministry essentially. And it's ran by Big Brother, which is the omnipresent and the all-powerful. There are strict rules in place, set laws to follow. There isn't really any freedom and humanity, just it's not really good. And apparently it's quite a dark and disturbing story, and our main character begins to find things out, what's really happening. The fact that things are just disappearing from articles and traces of things that have happened in the past are just apparently not a thing anymore. He then meets someone called Julia and they both end up being thrown into this room called 101, which is this forbidden room, and they don't know what to expect or what's going to happen or if they're ever going to be able to find each other again. And it's about whether he can survive the torture that's involved. Just sounds really dark, but I'm really interested to see where this goes. I am finding it a little bit slow, I can't lie, but I do think it's going to get a lot better as the story goes on. I am very interested for sure. Next pick is Legends of Lattes. It just seems like the coziest book that you could possibly read. It follows a story about an orc, and I think she's kind of given up her want for battling and she's given up her sword, and instead she wants to open a coffee shop. But apparently there are old rivals who are standing in the way of her success. It says on the back, whether bound by ancient magic, delicious pastries, or a freshly brewed cup, they may become something deeper than Viv could ever have imagined. So yeah, it just sounds like a really cozy read, and it's pretty much what everyone says. So really excited to see what it's all about. And that is my September sorted. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what books you have planned for September or which ones you have read so far and if you've enjoyed them. Next video is going to be very exciting because it is going to be my book challenge video, which is all wrapped up and complete, and I'm very excited to get that one out. So stay tuned for that one. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.